and welcome come to another episode of Movie Matt's Reviews on YouTube. It's like I'm actually getting used to saying YouTube now instead of Facebook. And today's movie is the Tim Burton version of Alice in Wonderland. And in hindsight, also maybe the first modern Disney live-action remake. But here's a little history lesson. Disney's live-action remakes actually go back to the 90s. They released a live-action version of The Jungle Book in 1994, which was more in line with the original book than of the cartoon. The movie wound up failing. So what happened was, in 1996, they released a live-action version of 101 Dalmatians, which basically did the remake almost shot for shot, and that did well to guarantee its own sequel. Cool. And then in 97 and 98, they released Flubber and Parent Trap, Freaky Friday, but those technically didn't count because Disney had released versions of those in the 60s and 70s. Flubber was 61 as the absent-minded professor, and so on and so forth. Now, this version of Alice in Wonderland, on the other hand, Burton and his team were treating it more like a sequel to the original books, while also giving it some form of a story. And taking elements of both books in it. Well, here's the story. It's like Alice is all grown up. And when and for some reason she's summoned back to Wonderland to overthrow the Wet Queen. Now, in the cartoon, it was the Queen of Hearts. And we also see the Jabberwocky. Now, Walt said that his version was actually going to have elements of both. So we don't know if what he was going to do was either more in line with this, or was it something else entirely? So it's like to overthrow the Red Queen and slaying the Jabberwocky. So basically, the story is about as straightforward as you're going to get. It's like she's told she's the person that has to slay the Jabberwocky. She denies it at first, and then and then eventually she'll come around and all that. But they do try to justify it by saying that she repressed her earlier visit to Neverland as a kid or something. So yeah, basically, as I stated, the story is straightforward, relatively straightforward compared to what everything else was doing. Visual style was good. You can tell that the stuff in Wonderland, it was obviously meant to be screened in 3D, and it was screened in 3D in theaters. And the cast was one of those that was kind of like, they weren't bad, but they weren't good. The girl who played Alice was a little bit stiff in her performance, and I think it was intentional because it was to show her again coming back to Neverland as an adult and seeing all the craziness of anything. Johnny Depp, Mad Hatter, selling attraction of the film, and he was one of those where he was fine. Red Queen, fine. White Queen, fine. It's like Stain, fine. And you know, the voice acting thing was good too. But yeah, for the physical cast members, with the exception of Alice, because again, stiffness was justified. It's like everything else was just fine. So, and I think it's one of those where it's like, I could have liked this better if, it's like, I did like it, but the story was ultimately just too straightforward compared to what everything else was doing. It kind of almost felt like they were saying, well, we need to reintroduce them and introduce them in some way, shape, or form, because we're also including elements that Walt didn't do, and it's kind of like, brain fry. So, yeah, I call this average at best per se, and you can kind of tell Burton, he was trying with the story, because the tale of Alice in Wonderland, there was a great CBS adaptation which I reviewed that was more in line with how the books played out. It was very episodic. So it's like, I think it's like they were trying to kind of connect all these points, but in the end, the story was just too straightforward to even make an impact. Hopefully the sequel would be better. It's like, that was the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland. You can check the channel for my previous work. And the next review will be the sequel. Alice Through the Looking Glass. So this movie Matt signing off.